Hello, hello. It's riot time. So in an effort to get the attention of the guards, the rooster has picked a fight with a tough-looking mercenary from Loshad, and it didn't go well. I mean, maybe you beat the guy in the fight, but he
Yeah.
tries to you like jump on the dude, knock him to the ground. His friend tries to pull you off. Somebody shouts like about like he's like, oh, there's a fight, and then it gets violent and out of hand very very fast.
Yeah,
And
both the crowd and the cops escalate things immediately.
exactly, yeah. The doors shut before the list is even finished. Right, they're just like. As soon as someone like starts shouting that there's like real physical danger, you hear the door slam shut. Then someone shouts like, "But I was on the list," and then the fight starts, and it just starts to escalate quickly. People start shouting, other fights break out, and people start rushing the door. Basically,
Oh.
If this was happening in real life, I would be tweeting about like fucking military agitation all year. Like, former war hero starts a fucking riot.
yeah. Well, and I think what happens is that at some point, like at this point, the halberds go from point up to point out. And maybe somebody gets cut or like stabbed, and then like word ripples out through the crowd that like the guards are like stabbing people, and it starts to go crazy. You all immediately, almost like right away, start to get like pulled away from each other. I want to know what everybody wants to do in this. Woodsman, you're far enough back that you hear the like sudden change in the tenor of the crowd and see the it gets aggressive. But I want to know what everybody both in and out of that situation wants to do.
Good question.
Well, so if I'm able to notice that there's a significant change in the atmosphere here, I assume that Rooster has done something.
I'm glad you got my back.
He can
Yeah, 'cause
discern.
Oh yeah, he's activated the rooster signal.
So I want to just like, I guess like stealth my way up to. I mean, that's like the most practical way for me to do things. I think stealth my way up to the location of them. Through the crowd to the guards or wherever.
Okay. So, I mean, stealth requires being like you can be hidden from observation in the crowd, but your stealth ability won't let you move through the crowd effectively. Like that, at this point, it's pushing. It's got to be like pure strength to get through the crowd. And plus, you can't even see where Rooster is, right? You just see chaos erupt in the crowd.
Okay. What about what if I roll tracking and they've inevitably littered some there?
My flower trail.
Just flowery handprints.
Yeah,
on
that would
stuff.
make perfect sense.
You go into eagle vision and start following her tracks. Assassin's Creed Woodsman. All right. Let me take a look. Tracking. It would be a very difficult tracking roll, just because you're usually looking for like footprints and stuff like that. Literal trail of breadcrumbs.
Damn it.
That's good.
Like observation not work here or something like that.
No, observation is for finding hidden stuff.
We're hidden in this crowd.
Yeah,
and
but
riot.
not on purpose. Okay.
Tell that to Rooster.
How about this? If you can get a better point of view, like you're down on ground level, if you can get above the crowd, then I'll let you make a perception roll to find out where everybody is.
Okay.
So if you just like run full tilt at a nearby wall, climb up it, and then
Yeah.
Just hop on the wagon.
Yeah. I don't know if the wagon is tall, but maybe getting up on the wagon, I can then like sort of leap to a roof or gutter or something to pull me up on a little building of some sort nearby. I Or I don't know if we're surrounded by buildings or if we're
No,
like,
there's no real like buildings out here. I think the closest thing would be like there's actually there is semi nearby. Like if you sprint, you could get there quickly. There's like a grain silo because this used to be farmland. So yeah, there's a grain silo nearby that if you're decent at climbing, you could probably scale the side of and get a good view of. Yeah.
Okay.
Things.
All right. So yeah, I think like as soon as I recognized that there's like this ruckus going down, I started just like, skeptically squint at it and assume that this must have something to do with something the rooster stirred up, and probably take like one quick swig and then just bolt
Okay.
for that silo.
Okay. Cool. Well, why don't we stay with you because you can be our perspective character. Okay, so you want to get a good point of view. I don't think it's going to be about whether you can or can't climb at all. Like, I don't want you to be like, cool, you try to climb, you fail. You're at the bottom of the thing. You can climb up it. It's just whether you can climb to a place where you can see. So let's make it a link test. Why don't you roll... I was about to say is climbing a skill, but it's a burning wheel, so of course it is. Let me double check though. Yep. Okay, why don't you roll a climbing test? We'll just say ob2, like an inclined rock wall. And then if you can get that, you'll get a +1 to your perception. If you fail, it's just 1 + 1 ob to the perception because you can't get like a good view from where you end up.
Okay, so since I don't have climbing,
Based on speed.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be an ob4 speed test.
Gotcha.
Oh, so close. You get any 6s? Oh, you got 2. Do you want to reroll? Spin a fate point? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, just roll 2 dice. And you got 1 more. Okay, great. So you get an extra die for your perception test. So we follow above the woodsman as like, yeah, he springs into action. You go from like nap to 60 in 3 seconds. Yeah, and you make for the silo and turn your sprint into the climb. So you use the momentum of the run, like hop off of a cart nearby, grab hold of a brick that's sticking out, pull yourself up, and then you're on maybe like because like a silo, they fill them up, but they have places where you can like pour the grain out of, like onto a cart, so it's high enough that you're above cart level. So yeah, you run, climb up, and then pull yourself onto one of those little like sponsons or whatever. And now we can see the crowd at a distance, and you can see that like the noise has gotten louder, and you can see that the crowd is getting like riled up. That there's motion, and you can kind of see the crowd like pushing forward, and people from the outside areas who are just kind of consigned to like being bummed and waiting are rushing forward to add their weight to the like push against the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I should do here.
Okay, so if you I'm just double checking here. So once in a while, blah blah blah, find themselves long term. Yeah, single character with many skills. Okay, if you only just got the obstacle, you don't get the +1, but you don't also lose a die, so it's neutral. So you just roll your perception.
Okay.
Yeah, had both of those been successes, you get the extra die. But this gives you a viewpoint from which you can make a standard perception roll.
Okay. Wait, what did you say the ob was?
So, that's a good question. So your intent is to find just the rooster? Do you want to like find where everyone is? Or what are you looking for, I guess, is the question here.
I think actually, so we kind of determined earlier that I can't really get up there if I wanted to. It's kind of like, or at least there's no clear path to it. Like,
yeah, you'd have to fight your way. The best you could do is become part of the chaos rather than like get to. You could try to struggle to get to an individual, but yeah.
So I think what I would like to do is try to figure out if there's some alternative path that can allow me to bypass the chaos and get to the sort of central like source of it without having to just wade through the entire mass of people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I don't know if like rooftops I can jump across, or like some sort of like pulley over the wall, or like something that I can spot that seems like a quick way to bypass everyone.
Okay. So you're looking for where do you want to get to?
I want to get to where I assume my people are.
Okay. So I mean, you'll have to find them first. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So I think the first test would be to figure out where they are, and then
All right.
we'll if you spot them, we'll jump to them. If you fail, I think that yeah, you won't be able to find them, and I will illustrate to you some other bad things that are happening riot-wise that might not have occurred had you not failed. So
Okay.
go ahead and roll. It's going to be an obstacle. You're trying to find all of them, or are you trying to find just like the rooster?
If I can identify anyone from
Okay, just
from-
anyone that you know. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Why don't we say? They're not really like that easy to spot. I'll say ob 3.
Okay. Damn.
I got a 6. If you want to reroll it,
I do. I have so much fate.
yeah, get those fate points. That's what they're for. When I'm really bad about spending fate in Persona when I play Burning Wheel. I'm like, it's like a Final Fantasy game. We get to the end of the
that's
campaign.
fine.
Get to the end of the campaign, and I'm like, why do I still have 8 Persona points?
Yeah, exactly. I have like a ridiculous amount of fate.
Yeah. Spend it like crazy, because that's how you shade shift eventually. You got to spend like 20 on the same skill. So
Ooh. Okay, so is that 1 die or?
yeah, I think you got 1 6. Yeah, so you got a 50-50 chance of picking out someone in the crowd. Okay, no dice. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're scanning the crowd desperately, like looking for your friends, and what you spot is instead there's a man in a like a long, like dirty, like black robe, and he's shouting at the crowd, but not in like an admonishing way. He's like getting them fired up. He's like shaking his arm over his head. You notice like it's his left arm, or his right arm, and he's missing his hand. He's just got like a stump, and he's like holding his like severed like his arm over his head, shouting at the crowd, and then like pointing at the guards. And you can see that some of the people in the crowd have drawn like weapons, like hand axes, like. Not like military weapons, but like dirks, like the kinds of weapons that a peasant might have, or like repurposing things, like a lot of like truncheons or cudgels. And it looks like this guy is trying to get these people to attack the guards, which is going to get really messy. Like the guards right now, it's just peasants that might accidentally get hurt, but if a real fight breaks out, then yeah, it's going to get real. So meanwhile, in the crowd, Rooster, Basil, Agnes, what are the 3 of you doing? Lars?
I think I'm trying to. Does this count as a field of battle at this point? Can I try to use command to keep the guards from using lethal force here? I want to like step into like Basil, the guy who has the voice of like the military commander, and like Revolutionary Guard, like. Put your weapons down now.
Right. So the voice of the citizen, like you,
Right.
yeah, you. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So you want to try to? That's
I
perfect.
guess it's command.
Yeah, that's totally command. Yeah.
I don't have either, but hey, here we go.
Sure. You. I mean, what are your traits? Because you got. I want to take a look at your character sheet for a
I got
second.
a bunch of traits. I got a bunch of traits.
Well, I'm thinking particularly of like your die traits, like mark of privilege and your lordship.
and yeah, your lordship, citizenship. Yeah. I don't remember how those work. I should
Let's look them up.
I'm gonna. Let's see. Oh, are those spells? Those are spells.
Your lordship. Oh, it just means it's your birthright and accustomed to being addressed as your lordship or a citizen in this case. Failure to do so is an insult. So, so there's that, and then Oh, that's because lordship is actually just a it's a character trait. So,
I don't know that market privilege.
I think market privilege is like a
Also a
for
character
as
trait.
well.
It's that people can recognize the fact that you were born noble.
Right. I think the one I was thinking of is the noblesse obligée or whatever.
Right. That's the thing I want to. That's the end of this arc is the one that I'm hopefully working towards, depending on how I play.
Okay, so this is in this case. Then you're just relying on command. The obstacle for command. Let's see.
This is definitely beginner's luck.
Yeah. It was funny. Someone earlier in chat said, "Really, these characters just need to do the things they're good at and save the things they're learning for times when it matters very little." And I was like, "See, if it doesn't matter, I don't make you roll." So
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
you just get what you want. And they're like, "But I needed the test." I'm like, "Well,
Too bad.
too bad. Let's make it in the situation where you don't want to make it." Okay, so command is the ability to deliver current effective orders on the field of battle. Let's see. Command can be used to negate hesitation of care. So what are you trying to do? What's your...
So my intent is to I know I can't end this riot. My intent is to order them to use non-lethal force, so that the streets aren't running red.
Okay.
I don't know if we have a word for that. You know what I mean? Like for us, it would be like now we talk about using less lethal force.
Right.
I don't know what the equivalent is here, or if there even is one.
Okay.
I have to imagine there is, right? Like part of the Revolutionary Guard's duties have to be at some point to attack, people who supported the old guard, the old nobles, and some of those had to have been lower class people, and I'm sure that there was a division between like all right, fucking murder these people, go in and kill these people, versus like just go rough them up.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say you make the test because you're basically trying to convince them to do a thing that is not the thing that they want to do, right? They
Totally.
As long as they have the sharp end of the halberd pointed away from them, they're going to feel a lot safer. If you want them to raise their halberds and rely on their clubs instead,
Yes.
that's certainly possible. I think what we'll do is you make that roll. If you succeed, I'll make a steel test for them, and then if they succeed at the steel test, then they'll like they have both the command and the bravery to do it, right?
Okay.
Like you issue the command and that's your authority. That's you being like, do this. Then they're gonna have to make a steel test to see if they can go through with it.
Right.
And I think
what is the ob?
Let's make the obstacle. We'll make it 2 in this case.
Okay.
Because they're looking for guidance.
Right. Sure.
They're in a stressful situation.
I think I'm going to burn a persona on this.
Okay.
Can I do that untested or unskilled?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can always spend it. Just put it towards either your. No, when you mark where you spent it, you put it towards your will.
This will be will.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm just rolling will here. Is that the?
Yeah, will against obstacle 4.
One. Oh, I always add my. I always put 1 in modifiers instead of Arthur when I do this. There we go.
Nice.
Hey.
Okay. All right. So
Take it.
So they one of them like looks to he hears you and like looks to the others and like points and they see Noble Basil like issuing this command.
Citizen Basil, thank you very much.
That's right. I was using noble in the lowercase n.
Yeah, lowercase.
You're noble of character.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll roll.
That kind of talk is very old-fashioned, Adam. Nowadays, we have a different word that we use.
All right. Let me roll a
Yeah,
steel.
we don't say that anymore.
Let me roll a steel test with these guys. So I'm gonna call it. Well, let's look at their hesitation and we'll subtract that. So they'll hesitate, and at the end of their hesitation, they'll put down their weapons because you got what you wanted, right? So or they'll change weapons. We'll just see how long it takes for them to get to that point. So roll for these dudes. I'm actually gonna let them help each other, so I'll give them an extra die. And the base ob is relevant. Oh, nice. I got some 6s. Fucking, they hesitate for only a heartbeat. So like powerful is your command that even just for the space of breath, they're like, oh god, but the sharp thing that we use to. Never mind. And they drop their halberds and and take out like clubs instead.
I'm saying if we had soldiers like these with us in Grouchstep, things would have gone much differently.
Yeah,
you know?
that was an intense steel test for these guys.
Or if you took charge.
Shut up.
All right. So while Basil is pushed through and like shouting commands to the soldiers, and actually I think while this happens, in that moment of hesitation, one of them grabs you, Basil, and like pulls you behind the line, like they pull you safe of the crowd.
Right.
And so you and this one soldier that pulled you free are like having a conversation over the shouting.
Okay.
And he probably says to you something like, and he's like, I don't know, like 19, probably at oldest. And he's like, thank God you're here, citizen. I don't know what to do. The lieutenant, he's in the city. He said he'd be
Your
back,
weapons
but he's not
down,
back yet.
Down. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Just go, Lieutenant. What about the lieutenant?
He says he was supposed to be back by now. He said he'd only be gone but a minute.
Just man your clubs now. Where was he going?
He shakes his head. I don't know, sir.
All right. Can you grab, and I point to Agnes, Lars, and the rooster,
Okay.
and like pull them back.
Okay. So I want to know, like, while that's happening, when we turn and you look for Agnes, Lars, and the rooster. Agnes, what are you doing?
Well, Rooster still like wailing
Rooster's like on
Lars
top
right
of a
now?
dude and just like punching him in the face.
Okay, yeah, then I'm
It
trying to.
doesn't take that long to beat up some guy.
No, I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
you
fine, not
like
me.
jumped on him and knocked him over, and then I wanted to know how Agnes responded right away, right? Like you're like
Okay,
fighting
yeah.
the dude, and then this riot broke out.
Excuse me. Agnes would try to rip Rooster off of this dude.
Mhm.
I don't know how successful she would be. She's pretty strong, but his will is stronger. So, she would first attempt to rip him off of Lars, and if that didn't work, she would, just try to like punch anyone in the face that approached the two of them.
Okay. All right. So you just want to like make a space and fight anybody who comes close
Yeah.
to you. Okay. All right. So you want to get from where you are to the rooster, help the rooster to his feet. And Rooster, what do you want to do after you've incited this riot? I mean, you kind of got their attention. They're attentive, but not to you.
Yeah, look. Come on. Lars started this riot, okay?
I'm pretty sure the tough dudes started the riot.
I mean, yeah, like certainly
Listen,
it's not my fault.
culture started the riot.
Yeah. The revolution started this riot. So yeah, like once I've like knocked the guy around a bit, like I'm done. I'm not really like hugely invested in fighting this guy, especially when like more interesting stuff is happening around me. So probably when Agnes comes and like grabs to like pull me off of him and get me to my feet, I like initially assume that she's his friend, but then I'm
Right.
like, oh, okay, it's you, cool. And then like I just get up and I help us not get trampled, basically.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
There's,
So
like me and Agnes like back to back.
I'm gonna say this is
Yeah.
This is Agnes's role. But your intent here, Agnes, is just to like stay safe, like to keep the three of you safe for now.
Yeah, at
Okay.
this point, I'm trying to just keep the crowd off of the
Nice.
three of us.
I'm just imagining Agnes as like Neo in the second man. There's just like dudes flying at you and you're just punching them off. Awesome. The show's really low budget, so it's just the same guy attacking you.
Yeah.
We only have one like generic rioter model. Okay. Make a boxing test then. You can
Okay.
get a die of help from the rooster.
Okay.
Yep.
I will help
Up?
with boxing.
But that is a fine question. To protect you and two other people from harm for now, let's say protecting yourself is easy, but protecting other people with martial arts is much more difficult. Let's call it Ob 4 to protect everybody.
Okay. Here we go.
And I'm helping with boxing.
Oh, god damn it.
You got 2 and you got a 6.
Okay, I got 1 6.
Yeah, so if you spend fate, you can roll that 6, and then you'd have to get another 6 on that roll. So you get a 1 in 6 chance of getting a 1 in 2 chance. Math. Do you want
Wait,
to
so
do you want to spend the fate on it? If you spend the fate,
Yeah.
you have to get a 6 on that die, so you can roll it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All right.
do.
Just do it. Yeah.
All right, what
Reason not to.
do I roll 2d6?
No, just roll 1d6, and if it's a 6, then roll another d6. So close. All right. So mark your difficult boxing test. So I'm gonna give you part of what you wanted. You can protect. I'm gonna say 2 of the 3 of you from danger. I'll let you pick which 2.
Oh god. This poor Lars fella.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it's just like, well, it's gonna be Lars. He's
I
gonna
mean,
suffer.
come on. I'm sworn to protect my companions, and I don't know this, bro.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at you making a hard decision based on your character's
Nice.
beliefs.
Good.
It's like
Yeah,
you're playing
so-
the game the way it was designed. Good work. Way to play the game. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so maybe what does that look like? Like, is there a moment where you realize like there's just too many people, like there's too much crush, too many people trying to like push past you or like knock you down, and you're not going to be able to like protect both of them. So
Yeah. It's one of those like slow motion. The crowd is like stampeding toward us.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, and I like look at Lars. He's probably still kind of like crumpled up on the ground a little bit from being beaten up, and I'm just like, and I grab Rooster and we
nice. Okay.
run.
So, you see, I think maybe we cut back to the woodsman. Yeah, you see this like group of people in the crowd. They like draw their weapons. They draw axes and daggers. They pull black like cloth over their face, like up over their faces, and
Oh, shit,
follow.
there's black block.
And they follow this like guy out into the moving towards the gate. And a couple of times people get in the way or don't get out of their way fast enough, and these people just like stab them and throw them aside, or like they're not afraid of just like using their weapons. And as soon as the first like person or a couple of people that happens to, people start screaming and like parting to get away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see this kind of like wedge of black-faced like bandanaed men and women moving up to towards the gate.
Cool.
And so it's like people who are up at the gate are running away from the gate, but then people who are near these guys
Yeah,
are
running away from them. Yeah.
So there's like this weird mash of the crowd into itself, and like, God, it'd be such a mess.
This is the worst.
Okay, so the whole situation is kind of incoherent, I think, from my,
Yeah, well, you have the best perspective on the matter, and yeah, you definitely that's the truth.
So is there still someone like sort of rallying people onward?
Yeah, the like guy in the black like friar's robe is definitely the guy. He's the guy in the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's got a sword in his left hand, and he's the only one with like a military weapon. He looks like he's from Freiburg.
So, okay, I kind of had an idea earlier, but now that things are a little different, I think, I don't know. It's like, I think observation is just kind of the only real course of action here at the moment. I need to see how things proceed, but maybe I think I kind of want to try to de-escalate, if only because it will allow me to like sort of parse all of the information that's before me a little better if I can de-escalate like the violence a little bit.
Okay.
And I recognize that guy is like, goading people on.
Yeah, he's the instigator for sure.
So I think what I'm going to do is like, first of all, I don't know how far this silo is away from all of this, like in terms of.
I mean, it's not close. It's like a couple hundred, probably more than 200 feet. Like you're pretty far from, but you can still see the figures. You can't make out like faces very well, which is probably why it was a hard time. You had a hard time finding your friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking more in terms of how the distance applies to my bow. So
You got a longbow, dude.
yeah,
This would be one of those. This would be one of those. Instead of shooting it straight, you fire it slightly up, and the arrow will land on the
Yeah.
person you're shooting.
which I'm sure the woodsman is like practiced at. So what I'm gonna do though is, because I haven't actually like borne witness to like a deadly threat necessarily, or like I can't even really determine whose side my people are involved with.
Which side are we on exactly?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna like through non-lethal means, or hopefully non-lethal means, try to de-escalate the situation a little bit. So okay, here's what I'm gonna do. The silo presumably has some sort of grain stored in it, right?
No,
Or
it's
what's it?
it's empty. It has dust.
Okay, awesome.
Wrong time of year.
All right, so I guess in that case, I guess I climb down to the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I just scrape up some dirt and gravel and stuff, whatever sort of particulate, granular substance I can
Sure.
gather.
Yeah.
And I want to locate like just a small piece of like burlap or some sort of cloth. And if there's none available, I'll just rip it off a piece of my
Yeah,
own
you
clothing.
can find an unattended sack somewhere. Sure.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'll probably like break a point off one of my arrows, break one of the arrowheads off, and sort of like string a small like bundle, like probably like 2 or 3 inch, square inch bundle of like just dirt, basically dirt and like fine.
I think I see where you're going with this.
Little sandbag.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna strap this through the same means to the
You're making
tip
a
of
like a
my
beanbag arrow, basically.
Yeah,
It's
we're
also Hawkeye shit right now.
we're going rubber bullets here. So yeah, as soon as I can like sort of jury rig that to an arrow, and maybe I actually make like a couple of them, because like dirt is kind of abundant, I would assume.
Mhm.
Yeah, then I think take some slow arcing shots at that guy. So should I roll bow?
Well, you'll have to make the arrows, and we'll just do what we did before. Like we'll do a link test. Do you have Fletcher or Bower? Like either of those skills?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So let's just make an untrained Fletcher test. So Fletcher is based on the average of perception and agility.
Okay, they're both 6.
Okay. And what kind of bow do you have? A great bow or a hunting bow?
Good question. I have a hunting bow.
Hunting bow. Okay, cool. So creating arrows for a hunting bow with the Fletcher skill is Ob 1. Normally you would require tools, but you're not actually making the arrows. You're not carving the like sticks or anything. So yeah, so just roll the average of your perception and agility, and you need 2 successes to make the arrows. If you can get 2 successes, there's no penalty or bonus. If you can get more than 2, then you get a +1, and then we'll make the bow test to see if you can knock this guy out.
Okay, I'm just gonna use the automated agility roll since it's the perception and
Okay,
agility.
the same. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. All right.
Nice. Look at you with your massive agility. Okay, yeah, so you do very quickly like whip together some arrows. And what did I say the ob was? 2? So you get an extra die. You made like badass knockout arrows. Okay.
Sweet.
And then make a bow test. At this distance, moving target, single target in a group. You're not up above anymore. And it's a lot harder to knock someone out than it is to kill them with a bow. I'm gonna say Ob 4.
All right.
Yeah, Ob 4 bow test. That's your
so-
that's your task, and your intent is just to knock him unconscious, or is your intent to I mean, yeah, I don't think you can decide how they're going to react, but it'll be a reaction.
Just to like non-lethally injure him.
I hope it's
Yeah,
not lethal.
pretty much.
Really
Just
do.
stop him from the action he's currently taking, and
You know,
in the
like a
rally.
broken collarbone would do the job too. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
All
what you're
right.
doing is you're creating a payload of rocks, firing it up into the air, and then letting gravity drop rocks on him from a high point. And it'll probably hit him in the top of his head or on one or both of his arms. So there's a good chance that it's going to hurt bad enough to take him out.
Oh, it would hurt so much.
Yeah, like a bag of rocks from, like 300 yards up.
I mean, to be fair though, it's got to be a very, very tiny bag
Definitely,
of
yeah.
rocks
Yeah.
in order for it to actually like fly.
I don't imagine this being one single arrow. I imagine this is you going like firing the 3 that you just made.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely will. But like the point is, since there's no like puncturing part of the implement.
It's
But
like when
anyway,
you get shot while wearing a bulletproof vest kind of effect. It's just like
yeah, it's still
Can you imagine how disorienting this would be for him and the people around him? He's just like, "Let's go," and then they like rush forward, and then he just gets knocked out from rock arrows. Okay, all right. So make your bow test. You get your extra +1 die from your.
You said ob 4.
Yeah, obstacle 4.
All right.
And if you fail, I think you can injure him, but it won't necessarily knock him out.
Oh, you said +1 die.
Yeah, you get an extra die.
Okay, cool. Damn.
You got 1/6 if you want to fate that thing.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Right.
Survey says, bonk.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So, I think that Basil, you'd be the one that would notice this, and even just like briefly, you see movement in the air. Something falls into the crowd from a distance. I mean, none of you, because you're all on a flat line. All the woodsman is doing is remembering where the guy is, kind of looking for the sword above the crowd, and then just firing up in the air. And then you just see the arrows fall into the crowd, and you don't even know that you did what you needed to do. Like, yep, I think I hit
There's
him.
nothing happened. Like I definitely like hold my breath for a second. Like,
So I'm gonna roll a steel test for the like goons. I'll force them to make a steel test now that that guy's out. So let me just add a character for them. And these guys go in the Freiburg folder. Steel of 6. Okay, so they are going to, So they're forcing a steel test. Basically, it starts at seven actions, 7 like heartbeats or breaths or whatever of hesitation, and then for each success I get, it reduces it by 1. So let me roll. And you'll see how much time basically it buys you, how long they hesitate. They're gonna stand and drool for that long. Okay. So there you go. So they, a decent amount of time, certainly enough for everyone to do more acting, for more stuff to happen. So yeah, they're gonna stand and drool. They're like, shit, like the guy, their leader is now unconscious on the ground. So probably the audience can see this, but none of your characters can. Probably like 2 of them like hunch down to like pick him up and like get him away from the crowd, and the rest are like, well, what do we do? And they've kind of like lost their energy for now. So, what do the rest of you want to do? Basil, what's your plan here? You've kind of got like the non-violent thing sorted
I
out.
feel like my plate is kind of. Oh, is it done? Like, have
Well,
they?
I mean, it's not done, but the riot has not dispersed. There's still lots of like pushing and chaos and shouting, and like people are throwing things like rotten fruit and vegetables getting chucked at like the guards and at you. Shouts of like injustice and like, yeah, people are getting pissed because they want to come inside, and now the gates are closed.
I think there's a point at which Basil is very much just like trying to encourage the guards to stand and take fruit being thrown at them, and to hold the line, basically. You know, like this is not, don't move forward on them. Like just,
Sure.
that's what I think he's.
and they're just like beating people with clubs, basically.
When they get close, which is like, that's,
Yeah,
it's
non-lethal. It's not non-violent.
It's not non-violent. You're right. It's not non-violent, but it's non-lethal, and it's not. It's not. They're not. I'm trying to keep that line steady and not push them forward into.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't imagine walking away from that scenario. I can't imagine Basil walking away from that scenario in this case, right? Like, I don't think he's like, no, I get to go into the crowd.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Like, cool, I'm on the good side of the line. You guys hang out here.
Well, no, I actually mean it the other way, which is like the second I fucking leave these people alone, they're going to go stab people.
Well,
or
they'll get totally overwhelmed, and then
either way, right.
doors
Their
get
spirit will
fried
break, their
open or
steel will
whatever.
break, and then right. So I think it's yeah.
Okay.
Given the information he has, I don't think he's changing tact at this point.
Okay. So right now, as things are, there's no risk of them like breaking. But if something changes, or if enough time passes without reinforcements, then you'll need to make a roll to like bolster them.
God, I wish. Is there anyone besides that kid around who is?
I mean, you can pull anyone out of the line. Like,
is anyone there who's there like a sergeant nearby? Is there anyone with rank?
How familiar are you with the like rank of the uniforms of the?
Yeah, probably not very.
Okay, make a perception test. Ob 2.
Also, Rooster is a sergeant. It's just
true.
FYI.
Yeah, but you're all the way over there, and you don't know where this guy is that I want to find. Ob 2?
Yeah, Ob 2 perception to see if you can figure out who's supposed to be in charge here.
I know it's that lieutenant, but he's gone.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so one of the older, which is to say like less teenagery of the guards, it's probably like 22 or 3. He's actually shouting like encouragement or commands to like the two closest soldiers to him. And also is like barking orders at the crowd, being like step back, and like pushing people, but also like keeping his eyes open for any like more advanced or more aggressive approach.
Sergeant, you do well. Do you know where the lieutenant has gone?
He looks over his shoulder for just a second, and then turns back, but replies to you while like facing the crowd. And he says, "I believe he left for lunch, citizen."
I see. Do you know his name?
Citizen, I do
like to
not.
Okay. Very well. Continue on your duty, sir. And I pat him on the shoulder and then move back so that like our shouting voices are an equal. We're hitting as many of our guards as possible.
Okay. So Agnes and the Rooster, what's your situation? You like kept yourselves safe. Where are you headed? Are you like trying to move through the crowd or? Appropriate response.
I don't know what direction to go.
Right?
Like,
Can we see the like?
because we're basically
black
like
block?
pinned against the wall now, right?
You can see no, you're still out in the crowd. You've just created like a space around you. You're not being presently menaced.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so here's what happens. Like, you turn away from Lars. I think, Rooster, you see this. You turn away from Lars. And Lars, when the last you saw him, the second of the two Eastern Reaches folks, the big dudes, the one you didn't punch, like, that one is getting up and, like, looking for you. Like, he's, like, got blood trickling down his face, and he's just like, where the fuck's that guy that jumped me? But his like brother or whatever has grabbed Lars's coin purse off of his belt, and Lars is like still on his knees trying to like pull himself up on this guy and is shouting like, "That's my those coins are mine. That's mine. What are you doing?" And then and Agnes has her. You two have you're back to back. So Agnes is looking the other direction, and there's just like people clustered everywhere, and like. You can sense that people are still kind of like pushing towards the gate, trying to like overwhelm the guards.
And I can't see Rooster, nor can I see the woodsman.
Well, if you had a mirror, you probably could see the Rooster, but there are none handy. You don't see Basil. No.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you don't see any of that. You're isolated in a sea of people. The only persons you can see are the ones that are quite near you.
All right. Are there any like nearby carts and or structures and or tall things,
Um,
climbable things.
make a perception test to look for
Okay.
something that you can stand up on. We'll say ob. So you just want a structure that you could like get on top of.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ob one to spot something like that nearby.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. There's a cart. It looks like it was a like a closed like passenger cart, but now it's tipped on its side. Like it hasn't tipped all the way over, but like one of the wheels has been broken, and it looks like you can see some of the rioters like smashing open the door with like clubs, trying to get inside. But yeah, you could climb up on top of it.
Doesn't really seem like a viable option.
I mean, it's the only thing nearby that would elevate you above the crowd, or you could just get up on Rooster's shoulders.
Wouldn't be much help.
Or I mean, or vice versa, I guess.
Rooster, what do we do?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah. So Rooster looks around. I mean, he's kind of just like thinking about survival at this point.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he's just gonna be like that way, and that way is like if here's the wall and the crowd, it's just like perpendicular to the wall, or parallel to the wall. So like
Okay.
just cutting away from the mob and just trying to like push through into the
Right. So if all
Yeah.
the traffic is going one direction, you want to run you want to move sideways and try to get out of the crowd that way.
yeah, exactly.
So is it just like a big wall and a road leading up to it, and like fields off to the side? Like
Well,
Yeah,
Slums.
former fields. Yeah, former fields off away to the north, and those fields are all the close ones are all full of people that are now like collecting around the entrance.
yeah. All right. Yeah. Then I say we just like pick a direction and start running along
Yeah.
the
So that's
wall.
kind of Rooster, when you're like, Rooster, what do we do? Rooster's just like that way,
Yeah.
starts,
Okay.
pushing his way through the crowd and like clearing it.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So I think that you, Rooster, you see before they get swallowed up in the crowd, the last thing you see is like Lars trying to like pull his like purse out of this guy's hand, and the guy stabbing him in the stomach. And Lars just looking like sweaty and upset and confused, like holding his stomach and like falling down in the mud. And then you disappear. He disappears in the crowd, along with the two men that accosted him originally. And you want to try to make your way to like a safe position outside the crowd?
Basically, yeah, like we're fighting towards the little like slum that's off the road.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Make a fort test. Since you're moving like sideways, we'll just say it's ob 3, and Agnes can help, or you can let Agnes lead.
No, I'll do it. That's fine. Although I will refuse help in this case because I need a challenging test to advance my force.
Okay.
So difficult. All right. So this means that if you're not helping Agnes, you're both not subject to, but also not of benefit. He's gonna leave you basically. Like,
I'm gonna get us out, but she's not helping. So
okay, she's not
I'm just
helping.
kinda,
So
like,
you're just getting
tunneling behind
pulled.
him.
Yeah. Okay.
If this goes south, it's on me. Like I'm.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. So your intent is to get both of you out, but you're rejecting her help in doing so.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like, all right, now is the time where I just do the thing.
Yeah.
Because this and it totally ties back to my belief about how I need to bear the worst of things.
Get that fate. Okay.
Yeah.
Get that fate.
Base ob 3?
Yes, please.
Okay, well I'm gonna spend a persona so that I have a chance of succeeding.
Okay, and you've got gray
I'm not
fort,
gonna
right?
bother. I have gray fort. Maybe I'll get a 6, and if I get a 6, then I can
You
succeed.
did not. Okay.
Success on both my dice, but it's not enough.
Okay. All right. So you're pressing through the crowd, trying to like get out. I think you break through like a clustered edge of people that are kind of moving towards you, so you're like moving against them. And you push past them, and you see two men holding up a guy in like a dirty black robe with his like arms around their shoulder. He's unconscious. It's like his blood dripping down his face, and a bunch of other like men and women with black masks holding like weapons. And you push through, and they look at you. And then maybe this is a good time to take a break before we go. Yeah, let's take a break here, and we'll come back and see how Rooster makes it worse.
Again.
What I love about prepping for this game is like I'm like, all right, I know some stuff that's going on in the city. I know a few things where I could, propose some stuff that you guys could come up against. And then I'm like, yeah, but then Andrew will just do something insane and fail a roll, and we can just roll with that, and it'll be great. So, yeah.
Austin will fail a roll, and then I'll do something insane. The actual story of this episode.
It goes in multiple different directions. It's a cycle.
We all fail together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's all fail together. Let's take 5, and we'll come back and see where our failures lead us. Stick around.